ShootOut video number what? 3? Third
Three?
one?
4? 3? 3? 3?
Three.
3.
Three.
There was meant to be a stream for the Man City Man United game, which we're going to talk about today, but apologies, we ran into technicals. And then it was...
It's always the way, isn't it? You'd have thought after 2 years, we'd have figured this stuff out. But technically, it's the technicals that have technicized us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And hopefully there won't be any more technical issues technicalizing us. So,
I'll tell you who's got some technical issues, mate. Technically, Ruben Amorim should be down a job centre.
Yeah.
Right about 5 minutes ago.
Trying to play 4D chess, as we were just saying before in a clip that you might be able to see on socials. So make sure you're following us on Insta and Twitter, because we might put that clip that we done as a test with a few things in there that we're probably not going to talk about here, but 4D chess might have to be his way.
Mate, honestly...
Get a job at the job centre.
I think Ruben Amorim is done at Manchester United. And I think it is the comments, obviously we'll talk about the football, but I think his comments post-match are just beyond insensitive. The fact that he's talking about like suffering and all of this stuff, and it's at this point in time it's obnoxious, in my opinion, to be so set and stubborn in your ways with a complete void of the possibility of changing something, with a team of players that are just... They weren't designed for his football. They're still not designed for his football. And to put in a performance like that against your biggest rivals, I don't think these players are playing for him. I'm not saying they've given up, but they're not good enough to do what he's wanting them to do. He's like, oh, at Sporting I did this. I'm like, yeah, mate, but at Sporting Lisbon you're playing against bang average teams in Portugal every week, and you're one of the best teams.
But this is the thing, you just mentioned something that I think is actually important, and it's, okay, Amorim will be the one that pays the price here, but it's like you just said, there are players there that are just not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'll give an example. If Luke Shaw is losing a one-on-one battle that he should have prepared for in advance, but lets Haaland through because he wasn't switched on, what can Amorim actually do? Although Amorim is being really, really stubborn and just sticking, he's willing to die on this sword. So it's like all of these issues together just create a nuclear bomb that you just can't stop.
And look at Rasmus Højlund, leaves Manchester United, starts bagging for Napoli.
What a surprise.
Immediately.
What a surprise.
Even Garnacho.
Yeah.
Like, Chelsea-Brentford, will go through that game after we've spoken about this one. But even Garnacho looked lively, right? And this is a player that couldn't even get on the bench for Man United because he's had a falling out. Is the problem Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund? I personally think Rasmus Højlund's the worst striker I've ever seen at Manchester United in my life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I don't know a worse one than him. But even he's not as bad as this team is right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bold statement. Man United fans, let us know if there's any worse strikers that have existed at your football club.
I'd have picked
aside from Højlund.
Wout Weghorst. I'd pick him now over Rasmus Højlund. I'm serious.
Mate. There's one stat you're talking about. There's one stat that shocked me yesterday. I'm sure you've seen it. Amorim with the worst managerial record of any manager at United since World War II.
31 points in 31 games.
Yeah, 8 wins out of 31. 25.6% win percentage. I said this yesterday on my channel. Listen, if we're talking about United being in the trenches, that's as far in the trench you get, because we're talking World War II now.
You got to dig a trench, mate. He's digging under the trench.
He's going
at this point. He is going underground, mate.
Yeah, but
with no control panel.
His comments after the game, I think the writing's on the wall.
He's asking to be sacked.
It's done.
But if you're a Manchester United fan right now, I can understand why, just based on the history of Manchester United, they're very good at supporting their managers, right? But this is a different Man United now. This is not the Manchester United of the Sir Alex Ferguson era.
No.
And the moment Sir Alex Ferguson left, we saw it crumble before our eyes.
Yep.
Let alone Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe coming in. The problems at the club are rooted deep over a long course of recent history where decision after decision was made and it was the wrong call. Now, we've been through this as Chelsea fans, right? We were talking protests in February, ownership gone. Manchester United, is it even a conversation to discuss ownership leaving? And if that is off the table, which the majority of times in football, that conversation don't exist.
Yeah, to be fair.
Amorim going is the only thing doable right now, because you can't go and sign more players now. The transfer window is closed until January, and even then, can they go and sign anyone?
This is the thing, though. Is that actually going to make a difference? Normally, like you change a manager, you get someone in that can make an impact. But is that actually, with this United team, going to make a difference?
Yes. Because
do you think?
It has to. Because it didn't work last season, hence the record that you've just mentioned. 31 points, 31 games.
Yep.
Worst manager since World War II.
Yep.
Mental. And you're talking about a manager here who is completely unwilling to adjust anything because it's his way or the highway. Well, the highway is sending you away from the job centre, mate. Like, you got to go back there and knock on the door and be like, sorry, I signed for the wrong club. Ruben Amorim probably isn't a bad manager, but his attitude towards his own philosophy is going to kill him at Manchester United.
100%.
If he's not already gone.
That I agree. I mean, look, you're in that situation, realistically, and I believe this. You just need to try and find a solution here. You can't, be ready to die on this sword that just isn't working because, and I remember this, and I stick to this all the time. Whenever people talk about going long-term and thinking like 2-3 years, yeah, you have to. But like Thomas Tuchel said, there is no long-term when you don't take the short-term in consideration first.
100%.
Right? So you got to try and find what works for the players that you have at your disposal, for the environment that your football club is in, and then go from there. Not just bring one way and try and think it's going to work everywhere. It's just not. You have your philosophy, but you do need to try and make adjustments based on the players that you have. It just seems like he's actually just not willing to do that. So that's where I blame him. For that, you have to. But I also think what he's walked into, and I remember when he was hired, what he's walked into is not going to help him anyway.
Absolutely
Man
not.
United's a mess.
But then also, like, the signings that were made in the summer, right? You go and buy Benjamin Sesko, who I don't think is a bad signing or a bad player, but you're putting him in there and being like, go on, score me goals then. Go on.
Exactly.
Yeah, score me goals. You got Brian Mbeumo, who I think is also a decent footballer.
Yep.
But, like, has the defence got any better?
No.
Like, realistically, goalkeeping wise, like, Onana's buggered off to Trabzonspor.
He's laughing.
But that's also,
He's laughing.
That is literally his level. So the problem was, like, Onana going to Trabzonspor was not a surprise because that's where he should be playing, somewhere like that, at that kind of calibre of club.
But you watch, he'll do well there.
He'll do well
Guarantee he'll do well there.
But it's also well based on, like, the levels that is, It's not like he's going to be playing against Haaland and Salah every week to be able to bag 3 goals past him.
But I also think their players are hindered in 2 aspects. Either one, they're just not good enough and they've been brought into Manchester United with a false expectation, or the ones that are good enough are actually limited because of the environment that they're working in. I think Manchester United as an organisation, as an institution, are holding everyone back. And I think till that's resolved, or till that's actually given some attention, no player or manager will be able to walk in and just save everything. This won't happen.
Can I throw a potential curveball at you for that?
Go for it.
What if Manchester United were bold enough to sack Ruben Amorim and were to go out there and go for Andoni Iraola, Oliver Glasner? Do you think that those managers, even though they've made good starts to the season at Palace, obviously Glasner won an FA Cup, Iraola 3 wins out of 4 for Bournemouth, I think that might continue long into the season. I think they're going to have a good season.
Yep.
Do you think that those guys would say no to the Manchester United job even now?
They won't say no ever. Because for them, even for their own careers, that's fantastic. They've got Manchester United on the CV, regardless of where they are right now, but the heritage of the club holds that brand high. And they'd have basically a free shot, because Man United couldn't be any lower.
Yeah.
So, and to be fair, I think they would actually be a bit more flexible because they walk into a job knowing that, okay, I actually have to try and make this work. And I do have a little bit of, I'd say, there isn't enough pressure on someone like Glasner that walks in. You don't really expect much. This is what Maresca's had at Chelsea, for example, where you get other clubs that bring in these managers. You could even say Arne Slot to an extent, where they come in, but you don't really have a high expectation. Amorim, I think there was a bit of a high expectation because in Portugal, we actually done really, really well.
Yes.
With a Glasner or with an Iraola, they walk in and it's like they, I think, have that thinking of, I just need to try and find how I can get this team to click. They're not going to come in with a philosophy fully. Do you know what I mean? As a balance.
I don't think that's what Man United can have right now. Like, I don't think, and this is the biggest question. Are their players actually good enough? Like,
at United?
realistically, yeah. Do you think that they're better than the Palace players or better than the Bournemouth players? Because I look at Mateus Cunha and I was like, probably the best player outside of the top 6 in the whole league last season.
Yeah.
Okay, he's injured now. That's unfortunate if you're a Man United fan.
Yeah.
Benjamin Sesko, even if you look at the highlight reels, clearly a decent striker, but not even that. Like, a really good potential player that could grow into something. But even him now, he's going to be the scapegoat.
Yep.
Because you're not scoring goals, the whole team's not scoring goals. Who do you blame? The striker.
Exactly.
But like, for Man United, you've got Bruno Fernandes, who I've never liked him, personally. Just on like a, do I like him? No, I don't. Is he a good footballer? Clearly. Yes, he is.
Okay, fair. I was about to say.
Where's he playing?
Yeah.
Why is he playing there? Kobe Mainu, why is he on the bench? What is wrong? How can you have all of this quality, but you're not even using it correctly? He's finished.
But this
Amorim, done.
This is the thing. The players that you've mentioned, I think, are the few that you can actually label as quality.
But he's not even using them correctly.
And there we are. So what Man United have and what Amorim is doing on top of that, this is what I'm saying. It's a collective amount of issues and problems. And just removing one isn't going to save the whole package. Man United as an institution are in the mud.
But then I think you need a flexible manager
You do.
who's going to be able to turn around and be like, okay, this isn't working.
To be proactive.
Let's try this. Go back
Yes.
to a 4-4-2
Yes.
if you've got to, Mr. Ruben. Like, at the end of the day, mate,
Brexit
I still
football,
think you could be a decent manager. But I don't think it's going to work at Manchester United because you've dug too deep into the trenches. Get your control panel out, mate, and jump out. Man City, on the other hand, if you're a City fan watching this, I'm sorry that it's taken us 11 minutes and we still haven't said anything good about you. They were very good yesterday. I thought the intensity was high. Haaland looks like a man on a mission. All of a sudden, brilliant finishes. Could have had a hat-trick, could have had more.
Yeah.
Like, was it Man City a back performance? Or were they just playing against a dross football team?
This is, yeah. I think, and I have to be fair here, sorry City fans, I don't mean to say this in a condescending way, but I think it's more option number 2 than one that you just said. City were basically given things on a plate, a chance to really try and put themselves back together, and United just offered it to them. I think Man City, the difference of the two teams yesterday were City are a team at the moment with a few issues, but they are a team, they are a group. Man United are a bunch of individuals that are just trying to find their way. Mm-hmm. And I think despite City's issues tactically with the way that they've been playing, but they are still a collective and they are still playing for each other and there is still an element of chemistry and they're just stronger than Man United overall. It's as simple as that. And Haaland, for example, I thought was, he capitalised on the opportunities that they got yesterday, he and others. I mean, even Foden on the score sheet, beautiful header. Foden doesn't normally get that sort of space. Do you know what I mean? To put a header in. It's just,
like you said, it's on a plate.
It's on a plate.
But I also think if you look at Man United beating Burnley, for example, like the week before the international break, before ShootOut was even back, subscribe if you haven't already. Like, that just felt like it was like a phew. Oh, at least we got 3 points there.
Yep.
There was Man United weren't good. Man United didn't play good football. They didn't deserve to beat Burnley, I would say, really. Like, were they good? No, they weren't. Yep. Whereas Man City yesterday turned up, realised what they were playing against, smelt blood, and then attacked and went for it. And when they went for it, they looked good doing that.
Yes.
I don't see anything good in any of the things Manchester United do. I wouldn't say they're good at anything, which I know that might bite me in the arse come the end of this week because Chelsea go to Old Trafford, and I'm that result could be the tipping point, mate. That could send me into the trenches. I might be at the job centre myself if we don't win that one.
No, if we don't win that game, we're going to the car park. We'll meet Saeed there.
We will go to the car park.
Listen, that is something, no ifs but, or buts. We got to win that game. We got to win that game. We got to win that game. Our record since 2013 has been atrocious. But Man City, overall, psychologically, this might help them. I will say psychologically, this might give them a boost. And this might get them to really reassemble and try and reconnect and start again a little bit. So,
they needed it. They needed that win. And I think it was a difficult question that we asked before, like, who needed the win more? Mm-hmm. And I would say, actually, Man United probably needed it more. And I'll be real, I thought Man United were going to win.
You did?
Purely because I didn't think City had that level anymore. But they found it because they've got quality players. So I might look like a mug. They got the job done.
We both got it wrong. For this week's prediction results, it's ended. Now here's a scoreline, right, as we go through this match week. George is on 9 and yours truly is on 5. So congrats.
Thank you, Eunice. It's a good start, although you did get a yellow card. So I feel like that kind of just gave you a little bit of nerves going into the last.
Yeah, you completely unsettled me. We'll take that as an excuse.
I think we should start with Liverpool and then talk about Chelsea, Brentford. I mean, I actually said, didn't I? I said it would be a late winner from Wirtz.
You did.
So I did think late winner and close after saying it could have been 10-0. But well played, Burnley. Burnley for 90 minutes were excellent. Like they played really well.
Really good defensively as well.
And this is what the promoted teams this season are going to have to do. They're going to have to play within their own means. And I think Liverpool sometimes struggled last season against promoted teams too.
Exactly.
And they, so far, this is why it's so annoying that Chelsea dropped those points. Because I don't think Liverpool have hit their gear yet. But they are points ahead of everybody already.
Yeah.
So they've somehow managed to play 4 matches and win in the last 10 minutes of each one of those games, having not been perfect. But again, if you spend 500 million quid and you buy a whole brand new attack because you either have to or whatever, you are going to score.
This is the thing, though.
And they did.
But they didn't play like that. You know, it's a different story when you spend that much money, you have a team, you assemble it, and then, you might struggle a little bit, but then you actually persevere and you go and get the win. That wasn't the case, really, yesterday. Liverpool were poor.
Yeah.
Liverpool were poor. Burnley, I thought, would put in a little bit of just a defensive performance and just try and just contain the whole game. There were moments where they did try. They had some initiative, which was good to see from them. This is why I felt like Liverpool might end up dropping points, and that's why I went with a 2-2, because I thought it'd be a little bit of an open game, but Burnley would actually surprise them. Although we didn't really get goals, we got a little bit of that. But the way that Liverpool got the win wasn't really down to Liverpool. It was, I don't know what Hannibal was thinking here.
He knew it too, didn't he? As soon as it hit him, he was like, why have I done
But why
this?
would you do that? It's the 94th minute or 5th, and he's just stuck his whole arm out.
I'll say something.
I think I know where you're going, but
Burnley. That's what happens. That is the difference.
Oh.
I don't think Van Dijk makes that mistake. I don't think Konate makes that mistake. But Hannibal for Burnley makes that mistake. That's the difference. The quality and the mental quality isn't there with the clubs at that point in the table, in the league.
I've seen the reaction on social media, and I think it's only fair to mention, because the consensus that many people have come to is, it's hard to say this is the truth, but because of how ridiculous his decision making was to do that, there's people that look and go, was that intentional? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you do that on purpose, brother? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, to put your team in that jeopardy, you either, like people have assumed, like, could that be intentional? Or you just have to be a flat-out idiot to just think...
I think it's just those levels, mate. To defend
very poor,
90 minutes
very poor.
Against an incredibly fast-paced attacking lineup, like... To play at that level defensively, Burnley did a great job, and then you just switch off for 1 sec. It's like all of these late goals that we've seen in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It's just Liverpool have got that extra little bit of quality, and in the end, that's what wins you titles. And it's that never say die resilience, which I think we could talk about Chelsea a little bit here, because I think Chelsea showed a resilience against Brentford, but then
that was the key word on the night.
It was that one moment of switching off.
Yeah.
The top teams that will win the top honours will not do that.
Yeah.
Chelsea couldn't push it through.
Talking about Liverpool briefly before we move on to Chelsea is with the amount that they've spent, and because it's been 4 games, and I remember saying this from the start, you have to give it some time for all teams, whether good or bad, to then see where it's heading.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about teams that might be a little bit hindered or something, I think it's only fair even for the top teams that have quality. Maybe it's going to take a little bit for things to really click. Mm-hmm. Do you think with Liverpool, it's a matter of time until when this 500 million that they've spent actually begins to show itself? Or do you think what we see is what we're going to get?
I think it's only going to get better. Okay. And I think that is the problem for the Premier League, and that's why it's so frustrating that they have not played well and they've won over every match.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, if this is what they're going to do when they're not at their best and everything's not flowing and Isak's not even in the squad, but don't worry about it, we're going to bring the Premier League record player into the next game. My best mate's a Liverpool fan, and he texted me that, and he was like, it's only just hit me that after all of this, we're top of the league, we've won again, Mo Salah scoring a penalty in the last minute, and we still haven't seen Isak play. I'm like, oh, well, that's great then, isn't it? Lovely.
Yep.
How nice for the rest of us.
Yep.
And it's true, like, people are worried about, how is he going to fit? Is it going to fit? Yes, it is. He's so good. Ekitike is not the same level of player as Isak.
No.
Even if Ekitike then doesn't start playing, Isak's a better version of him.
And at least they have an option to turn to.
Exactly.
So, no, I agree. In terms of depth and in terms of quality, it's there.
There's nothing more annoying than only having one potential striker available to choose from, isn't there?
True. The only thing, and we've seen this in the past, I think with many examples, is managing the egos and managing the big personalities. And this is where Arne Slot's job has to come into play.
Yeah.
If he does that and manages to do it, then yes, Liverpool can be something quite special. On the contrary, if it's not managed correctly down the line, things can actually crumble quicker than people think. But on a footballing level, yeah, there's tons of quality there. It's a matter of time before we might actually see it all click into gear. So let's see. For Chelsea,
bloody hell, mate.
now we've given thoughts on both our individual channels, and you saw the watch along on here, which we will continue to do, like we've already mentioned. Make sure you're here for the Bayern Munich Chelsea game on Wednesday.
That's mega.
That's going to be massive.
Yeah, back in the pub, by the way, for the watch along.
Yeah, the Chelsea games are from there, from the Chelsea Supporters Club, so make sure you're tuning into that one. And talking about that, Champions League is starting again tomorrow, so we'll be looking to try and do a watch along for tomorrow on one of the games as well. We'll
Technical
keep up to date.
issues, we're going to work on them.
Bearing in mind, no technicals. Yeah. Chelsea Brentford.
I think you have to start in comparison to watching Liverpool win late. Chelsea concede late, we're now 4 points behind Liverpool. After 4 games. They're averaging a point more per game than we are.
True.
So, I'm not going to say we're out the title race. And I made a video about this today saying, we're not out of it yet. I don't know what angle I want to even start talking about this, because...
This is what I was going to say.
We could go down the path of saying, well, it should have been disallowed anyway. But then I also want to say, how on earth have 4 players managed to somehow let the ball go all the way through, and then not to blame Garnacho, it'd be too easy to be like Garnacho should be tracking back. We know what we've bought. We've gone and bought someone who we know doesn't do that very well. Casemiro also told him countless times on the pitch. We've bought that all upon ourselves. That is the most pathetic goal to concede that we've conceded for a very long time.
I think, the Garnacho thing is very, very easy. Because even then, taking that into consideration, you should have someone on the back post.
Yep.
Irrespective. And that's on us. That's on, I don't know, the set piece coach, or that's on defenders switching off. But what I don't understand is having 5 players in one close vicinity going for the same ball, and they all lost out to one Brentford player in the middle of that. That's poor.
Yeah.
That is really, really poor. That shouldn't happen. So that's the main issue there. Then we could go down the rabbit hole of, was it offside? Now, when you talk to a lot of the Chelsea community, right, like we do, yes, you look at it and you can see the angles and everyone's like, yeah, we've been done. We should have avoided that situation in the first place, but we do want to open it to everyone else, because we've got loads of other fans here, I'm sure, that are not just Chelsea, but other clubs. If we're speaking honestly, was that offside or not? Let us know down below. That is something that we have to take into consideration, just for the lack of consistency when it comes to refereeing, when it comes to VAR, when it comes to the PGMOL. We have loads of teams suffer from this. Yeah, it's not just us or anyone. It's everybody. Yeah. That needs to change. But you're right. Chelsea conceding in that last moment was resemblant to how we conceded the first goal, as we did mention, and it's lack of concentration, lack of discipline. Just not being in the right place, not having the right concentration at that moment.
Is it a question of quality? Like I've seen a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, well, Tosin should never be a Chelsea centre-back in the first place. Is that even the conversation? Because I think that we defensively, I've said this in the preview, I think we've looked good defensively this season. Yes, it's very frustrating how 2 goals that we've conceded here were examples of poor defensive work.
Yep.
And I don't think we should be conceding either of those goals. When you drop 2 points like that, is it a case of being like, well, that is 2 points dropped and we're now 4 points behind Liverpool and wave them goodbye? Is that going through your mind at all right now? Do you think that this is important yet?
No. So, I mean, like I've said before, it's still early. Liverpool will drop points. But it's a case where, and I stress this, we have to go to Old Trafford and win in order to rectify this result, and that would bring things back on track. But talking about our defenders, There would have been a time not long ago people were looking at Tosin as a better defender than Chalobah. In this game against Brentford, Chalobah puts in a clinic, Tosin has a very bad day, and now all of a sudden Tosin can't defend, doesn't know what he's doing, and Chalobah's a king. Which, big up Trevor Chalobah because we love him. But you get the gist.
Yeah.
It's a case of just looking at the overall bigger picture. You could argue the point, should Chelsea have gone in for a defender in the window? That's something that we can definitely talk about, right? But also considering the Chelsea limitations that are in place when it comes to transfers, you could argue, should we have gone for a Gittins, for example, who didn't have a good game? Should we? There's loads of hindsight questions that we could ask of, could we have compensated for an extra defender if we didn't make this decision, for example? That's something we could go down. But to say, oh no, Tosin's just a bad defender or Trevor's a bad defender, no. I do think though Tosin was bad on the day, horrible.
Yeah, I think when he's running back to goal and he's under actual pressure,
exactly,
he don't know what he's doing.
No.
That is not the situation you want to put Tosin in. But then I can also say, I think it was too many decisions to change things from Maresca in one go.
That's what I was going to ask you. Because
that's what I think it was.
Should he have started with a stronger team? I argued this. I think yes, he should have.
I just don't think you should put Wesley Fofana straight back in a position where he's not exactly always comfortable playing anyway.
Yep.
When it shifts everything else along the back line because of the way we want to play. Yoel Hato, good player, not writing him off because he had a bad game. He did have a bad game.
He did.
Let's call a spade a spade.
Yep.
Doesn't make him a bad player, but also I don't think you change Hato and have three right backs on the bench and play Wesley Fofana back in that right centre back, right whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is at this point. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But then I think you don't change the personnel that much and expect something to not go wrong. So I was not surprised in the slightest when you look at that first goal that it's just abysmal.
Yeah.
Positionally abysmal. There's no excuses for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there was a little bit of a gamble on Maresca's part. And I could argue, some would argue as well, was there an element of, I don't want to say disrespect, but being a bit naive that, we're going to walk this game anyway, when that's just not the case when you go to places like Brentford, no matter, even if they have been depleted of their manager and some of their key players. But this is the Premier League, and you never know what can happen. This is why I was stressing, it's best to start strong, try and get the result in the bag at least, or make it comfortable for yourself, even psychologically give yourselves an edge and then make changes later rather than do it the other way around, which you could argue still kind of worked because we were up 2-1, but we threw it away at the end.
That is the thing I think that was the big difference for me, and we spoke about this on the stream.
Yeah.
Last season I think we lose that game. So to draw it now, I'm not going to kick up too much of a fuss for now. But again, in 2 weeks' time, this entire Chelsea narrative of the season can look very different.
Yep.
Because in 2 weeks' time, we'll have had Champions League. Hopefully, we go and beat Lincoln in the Carabao Cup. We've got Man United at the weekend, which I think is just a non-negotiable victory now. I don't care
Have to.
how well Man United play. You go there and you beat them.
Yeah.
No excuses. After dropping points to Brentford, you go and drop points there to another bottom 7 team.
Yep.
Nah, sorry, mate. That's not good enough for me.
No.
That needs to get significantly better. But I think all in all, I don't want to be bashing any of the players yet. Jamie Gittins, Bundesliga to the Premier League. How many players do we need to see come from the Bundesliga, go to the Premier League to know that there is a period of time where adjusting to the speed of the game needs to occur?
It is exactly
it's 4
that.
matches into the season. Gittins was poor, yes.
Yeah.
And even he's come out and admitted that and said, he needs to do more.
Yeah.
But to just bash him like that, some of these players will take time. And I know at Chelsea, our argument has been, we don't have time. Well, then maybe we should have gone out and bought an outright starting left winger and not bought 2 players that were kind of trying to fit the glove.
Yeah.
But it's too early for me to say no, this is bad and we're screwed now. No, not happening. I'm not saying it.
Yeah, there's a big difference in tempo between the Premier League and the Bundesliga. So we'll see what happens there. But this is where Garnacho has an opportunity.
I think it's clear now that Gittins probably should be an impact player off the bench.
I agree.
And if you want to change the way that... The thing is, with Gittins, we know what he can do, right? He wants to get the ball out wide and he wants to go and take players on. So you've got to give him the ball in those positions. We knew that that's what he's good at when we bought him. So give him the opportunity to do what he's good at. Do you know what I mean? Don't go starting him every game now if we're not actually going to be getting the ball out to him on that touchline.
Yeah.
Because of course we're going to see that result come as a result of that, you know?
Exactly.
Anyway, mate, I'm tired of Chelsea now. I want to.
We'll wait for Champions League, Bayern Munich next. So make sure you're here for all of that as it goes down. Arsenal.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good.
Now, when we talk about consistency and we talk about stability, the one team that looks like they've got everything in gear right now is Arsenal.
Yeah. Very good.
Hands down.
Very, very good.
I mentioned this the last time we spoke in the predictions about balance.
Yeah.
And albeit, I also do have to be fair here. Yeah, they played a Nottingham Forest team that have just changed their manager, where it's all looking a little bit pear-shaped. Disjointed is the word. And Big Ange walks through, doesn't quite hold it down in hold it down in a Spursy way. You could argue maybe it did because they lost 3-0. But with Arsenal, they don't look extraordinary, but they look solid.
As much as everybody wants to pick on Madueke, pick on Gyökeres, like they needed a striker to be in the box to put the ball in the net, and he does that. The moment where he holds the ball up and he's driving forward and he plays, I think Madueke plays him and he hits the post.
Yeah.
Fantastic striker movement. Like, people are looking for any reason to bash him. I'm sorry, he's doing exactly what they needed him to do.
I agree.
Noni Madueke is doing okay right now. He's doing well.
He's doing good.
I'm certainly not going to entertain the disparity in quality between what he was doing at Chelsea and what he's doing at Arsenal. Not really. Like, he was doing okay at Chelsea. But because he's now at Arsenal and he's left Chelsea, obviously it's heightened in the way. I'm sorry, I've got to go into this because I am sick to.
Get ready, guys. I'm going to sit back for this.
I'm sick to death of the way that people will talk about players that leave Chelsea, go and do what exactly? Madueke so far at Arsenal. What has he really done to show that Chelsea was the problem? There was no problem. If Noni would have stayed at Chelsea this season and he would have played our first 4 games, he'd have probably done the same thing there. But because he's left Chelsea, we're seen as like this big problem and, oh wow, how amazing is Noni Madueke? I'm sorry, no. He's not better than Saka. When Saka comes back, Saka's going to take his spot again. Simple. He's not going to change, but the narrative regarding Chelsea and the way that people talk about us is a disgrace.
Honestly.
And it's done because we're a massive club who are the world champions. We get views, we get clicks, and we sell newspapers. That's the only reason why. It's true.
I love it.
The way that people chat shit about our club is a disgrace, and it needs to stop, and people need to stand up for it, so I'll do that.
Come on. To be fair...
Arsenal were very good, though.
No, and this is the thing. This isn't taking anything away from Arsenal.
No.
Not even taking anything away from Madueke.
No.
What I'm going to say is, I've seen this before. When people are going to hype this up with Madueke to the extent where it's like, oh, look, he's a changed man. No, we've seen these performances at Chelsea. It's just no one wanted to take notice because he done it in a Chelsea shirt. But we make the case that we already know that this isn't going to be a super consistent thing. It will get to a point in the season where he starts dropping 4 or 5 out of 10s, and then we're going to get the real reaction of the Arsenal fan base when that does happen, I think.
I don't think that's going to happen, though.
I think especially with Saka coming back in, and then when that happens, the comparisons are really going to kick in. You'll see the difference.
I think that's the thing with Madueke. I think even if he does amazingly well, Eze's always going to get picked on the left, and Saka's always going to get picked on the right. So with that,
there's less pressure in that regard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why I think Arsenal are doing so well.
Yes.
Because Odegaard obviously went off injured in the game as well.
Yep.
Let's see how long that's going to be the case. Declan Rice didn't even start this one. They've now got the team, and they got relatively close, you could say, in the Champions League last year, but then bottled it to an extent towards the end.
Yeah.
It's just, some teams have big European pedigree, some teams don't. It's just the way it is. But I think Arsenal are looking so far like they have addressed the problems which have made them second best for so long.
100%. And a player like Zubimendi, what a
finish.
Performance and what a strike that was.
Goal.
That was outstanding. You see, that's the extra little element that a team needs at the highest level. And to be fair, Chelsea showed that this weekend with Caicedo taking a strike. But when you can have midfielders like that out of nowhere can actually pull you a goal that is going to steer the game in a certain way, that's phenomenal. And Arsenal done just that with Zubimendi. I thought he was fantastic on the day.
But it's just all of the signings. Like Eze, I think, is a phenomenal footballer.
Yeah, hands down.
And not scoring loads of goals yet, but it's not what he's there to do. He's not being brought in to score tons of goals, is he? He's there to create things. He's there to put the ball on a plate for a number 9 who's actually going to score. And Arsenal just, for me, they are more than just going through the motions right now.
Yeah.
I was, especially when we were building up to the game last week, I thought Arsenal were going to win purely because I think the shift for Forest from Nuno to Ange is literally like waking up, going to bed in England and waking up in Saudi Arabia and being asked to speak the native language. You know what I mean? If you don't know Arabic, you can't speak Arabic.
Habibi.
Like, this is exactly what Forest are going through. So great game for Arsenal to play Forest.
Yeah.
Like, forget Ange and Tottenham and all that stuff. Like, Forest are a bit of a mess, really, aren't they? Like, why has Nuno been sacked? Other than, like, it's something wrong internally at the club. Like, Nuno's not a bad manager. Nuno did an amazing job there. And why is he being sacked for?
Yeah, it's got. I don't think much to do with what they were doing on the pitch. It seems like something between him and the owner.
Yeah.
Has steered it in that direction. And albeit maybe they want to be a bit more expansive now in the way that they're playing their football, but I think it can work if it's executed with the right players, right? Which Nottingham Forest need to go through a bit of a transition to do. But it's also the wrong time, I think, to ask that.
Yeah.
Because you now have European football, and now you want to experiment a little bit. Again, if done right, and this is going to be down to Big Ange, we'll see, right? But overall, there's a risk. There's a big risk there that Nottingham Forest might not be able to pull that off.
I just think it will take them time to go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
You know, there's gonna be a few bad results along the way, which is why I want Chelsea to play Forest as soon as we possibly can. Please. Don't think that's actually happening though.
Honestly.
Should we move on?
Well, other results on the day, we had Bournemouth and Brighton, 2-1.
Bournemouth very good. Semenyo, class.
Yeah, you called it.
He's brilliant.
In the predictions, he called it. You said
player.
Semenyo, so fair play to you. Fair play to you. Not a brilliant result for Brighton overall. I mean, away from home, and we did kind of expect Brighton to not really show a big level.
I just think Bournemouth are just very good.
Yeah.
They've got. Iraola's a fantastic manager. And I bring it back to what we talked about with Man United at the start of the video. If Man United can go all out and have a bit of ambition and understand that Ruben Amorim's not your guy, you go for Andoni Iraola.
Yeah.
100%. He's a fantastic manager. He's doing an amazing job. Bournemouth were decimated in the summer. To lose 3 defenders that are starting defenders that could probably walk into almost any club. Kirkic has gone and signed for the champions. PSG have gone and bought Zabani, and Real Madrid have bought Howson. Like, we're talking serious calibre here.
Yep.
And they don't look, the players they bought in don't look out of place because they've got a manager who knows exactly what he wants from them, and he can establish the roles, delegate the roles, and the players are good enough to execute. I think they're going to be very good.
To be fair, they're sitting 4th in the Premier League now as well, so it's a brilliant start. 9 points
Very
out
good.
of 12. Big up to Bournemouth. That's a fantastic start for them, considering the circumstances you just laid out.
Absolutely blue.
Crystal Palace, Sunderland, 0-0. I say poor for Palace, that.
Yeah, Palace will be wanting to win that.
Yeah.
But well done, Sunderland.
But well done, Sunderland, I was going to say. Yeah, very good result away from home. Also, I remember pointing this out in the preview, and I want to stick to it, is Sunderland are not as bad as many people think. So this is why I don't want to say, Palace, horrible day. But
yeah, no.
them at home, they would think that against a promoted team, they should pick up 3 points.
Yeah.
Considering how strong they are, at least even physically. But Sunderland, brilliant day for them.
Very good. 7 points in the first 4 games too. That's an excellent start to life in the Prem.
Yep. Sunderland sitting 7th at the moment. Palace in 9th. So yeah, very, very good start for Sunderland. Sorry. Everton, Aston Villa 0-0 there as well. Which was, is that a shock?
No, I thought draw. I thought that was going to be a draw. I think Aston Villa are not in gear yet. They don't look great. I think Rodgers didn't look... He was kind of like snatching at everything he did. Everton, I think, are very well organised. I think this new stadium thing is going to help them a lot this season. I think it's kind of going to kick them into a different level. They've kind of just been stuck, like, going through the paces for a few years now. David Moyes, good manager. Grealish, good signing. Dewsbury Hall, great signing as well. It would have been nice if it was a goal or two, but... dead game, really, wasn't it?
I want to say I'm shocked, but not shocked. Aston Villa, away from home, actually being able to contain Grealish in the form that he's in, or Everton as a whole. Everton at home have looked good, and I think Grealish has been phenomenal. You expect a team like Aston Villa to be able to defend that, but Aston Villa away from home haven't looked good anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So technically, this could go down as a decent result for Aston Villa.
I don't think it's a bad result for either team, really.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
It's not a bad result. It's Move on.
Fulham 1, Leeds 0. Fulham got 3 points.
This is
round of applause.
We both did say it, to be fair, didn't we? But I'll tell you what, I've never seen such a delightful own goal. Like, if that was a striker in the correct end, you're praising that, and we'll talk about a striker scoring a great header after this game, because Newcastle, very good. But what a faff of an own goal.
Yeah.
Like, and to be fair to all the promoted clubs, right? Sunderland, Burnley, Leeds. None of them right now, apart from Leeds against Arsenal, but no one's really got that problem of like the whooping boys, you know? They've not come up to the Premier League and just been like throwing away games, losing every match. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
But for Fulham, that was kind of a big relief. And for Leeds, you'd be like, how the bloody hell has he done that?
Yeah.
Like, what a header. It's outrageous. It's a brilliant goal.
It is.
But yeah, that's what it is. Much for muchness.
Congrats.
Newcastle.
Congrats to Fulham. Newcastle, again. Round of applause for Newcastle. 3 points.
It's on the board. And also, Nick Voltemade.
Big Nick.
I think Big Nick is going to be a really smart signing. Because this is the thing, right? Newcastle weren't great. He wasn't great, actually. If you don't isolate the fact he scored, all-round game, it's not Isak, is he? But if you aren't playing well and you've got a 6'7" lank monster up front, mate, get your boy Jacob Murphy. Nothing fancy on the wing. That's what Murphy does. He puts the ball on a plate and Nick Voltemade scores a brilliant header. I don't know why I'm...
No, it was kind of like that, yeah.
It was a little bit like...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Big, again, I resembled him to Berbatov in the predictions video.
It's a Berbatov-esque kind of goal.
It actually was, wasn't it?
Execution, perfection.
It was a good finish, very, very good, cushioned header. So respect to him. They pick up 3 points. Newcastle now, sitting in 10th. Is this going to be their beginning now to start some form of consistency? We will see.
I don't think the performance was that good.
It wasn't.
Nah.
And to be fair, against Wolves, who are sitting bottom of the table now with 0 points, you'd expect Newcastle to win at home. So yeah, overall 1-0, not great, but they needed something, and they got it. And the last one, West Ham Tottenham.
I'm going to go. No, I can't.
Listen.
They're good, aren't they?
No, they're not. No, they're not.
They are.
I mean, they are. Okay, they are. I'd say to
It's
an
horrible.
extent. But no. On that day, it was like, I will stick to this. West Ham are finished under Graham Potter.
I think
they are finished.
Yeah.
They're
we
toast.
said this before, though, didn't we? We said apparently Graham Potter was given 2 games to save his job. Goes to Forest, obliterates them, but clearly there were some external problems there, and West Ham capitalised, took advantage of all of that.
Yep.
But then this one, to me, felt like if that Forest high was high, like he's like Ruben Amorim, mate. He's dug under the trench at this point.
He has.
It was... I've never seen a Premier League stadium that empty come the end of a game. The stadium is a shithole, just regardless. I'm sorry, it's a horrible ground. It's not a football.
It's not a football ground.
But the fact that
Paid by the taxpayer as well.
everything is just there's so much discontent there at West Ham.
Mate, it's outrageous.
And I think, but again, it's the same situation and conversation about Amorim, right? Is it the manager?
This one, I would say, it's more Potter.
You think this is Graham Potter just not being a very good guy?
Yeah.
Being a very good manager.
No, he's a nice guy.
Lovely
Don't get
guy.
me wrong. He is a nice guy. That's his problem, though. At the same time, he's too nice. But there's it fell apart. Tottenham got that first goal. Xavi Simons' assist, by the way.
Yeah.
Have to say that. And it crumbled. When we've been there, don't you remember when Potter was with us? The first sign of trouble, we concede, boom, capitulation.
Yeah.
That's it, head's gone. And that's exactly what happened. Souček getting the red card in the way that he did was just...
It looked like he'd given up and he didn't care.
He's just like, screw this, I'm going to try and take him out. And he
I think
basically
Souček's
did.
a good player.
He is.
I'd say he's like a sensible head.
Yeah.
And for him to do that, I'm like...
It's weird.
Bruv,
Well,
no one...
this isn't you.
It's just, that's not a team there at West Ham. I'd be really worried. And look, we said it before, it could go one of 2 ways. Beat Forest 3-0. How do you build upon that? Well, if that is the answer, you don't build upon it. That Forest result was the fluke. This is what to expect. And look, West Ham, even Spurs, bigger team than West Ham, bigger club.
100%, of course.
But to lose 8-1 on aggregate against 2 of your biggest London rivals in your first 2 home games, and to expect the manager to be supported, to expect there to be belief amongst the fan base...
It's not good, is it?
It's not looking good at all if your name is Graham or Potter. It's not. And I think West Ham are in serious trouble. They're in the relegation zone right now.
Yep.
Above the 2 Midlands teams, Villa and Wolves. In terms of starts of the Premier League season, let's have a little look at the table. I'll put it up on screen for you lot again now. It's
Tottenham third, by the way.
Tottenham.
They've
I think
overall
Tottenham,
very good start for them.
I'm really worried about them. I really am. I think Thomas Frank is a fantastic manager. The signings that they've made, Kudus, Simmons, yep.
Yeah.
They are a force to be reckoned with now.
They will be better, but there is one context here that I think needs to be taken, and this is for all teams, us included. Champions League football in the midst of it, and having to balance that with the Premier League now, that's where everyone's going to get tested.
Yeah.
Is where Tottenham will get tested too. Can Thomas Frank handle that? He's never been there. So let's see, but their quality has improved without question, and they've started off really, really well. Liverpool sitting top on 12, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Bournemouth all on 9.
Well done, Bournemouth.
Yeah. Chelsea on 8 in 5th, and then Everton, Sunderland, which sounds bizarre because now I say Man City sitting in 8th, but they've had a poor start overall. That win has helped them on 6 points, and again, it's 4 games in. And the relegation zone right now with Manchester United in 14th on 4 points out of 4 games is just really bad. But West Ham, Aston Villa and Wolves are sitting in that relegation zone, which is just insane.
Yeah. No, I think Wolves expected, West Ham probably expected to.
Aston Villa definitely not expected.
Yeah, very slow start. And they've also got Europe to contend with, haven't they?
Yeah, they do.
Let's see how they deal with things. Thursday night football is very different as well.
This is going to be a very, very. I think it's going to be a problem for them. For West Ham, this season they can turn it around. I would say, and this is where, unlike Amorim, for them lot, I'd say sack Potter immediately, and you might get your season back on track.
I think Ruben Amorim's got to be sacked as well.
He has to be. The writing's on the wall. I think whether we want it or not, or whether we like it or not.
Don't sack him now.
Just not yet, please.
Not yet.
Please. Wait, give it 6 days.
Why do I feel like
6
this
days.
is a really stupid thing for us to say?
But it's not. Because the last time we went to, well, not last time, the one before that, we went to Old Trafford, they did have a new manager bounce, didn't they? I don't want that happening again. We need to go there and win. So, one more week, please, United, please.
I'm not saying this because I'm being pessimistic. I still think Chelsea will go there and win. We've got to go there and win.
We have to.
It's non-negotiable for me. And at this point, Monday afternoon, what is it? 1:15 in the afternoon in England right now. We've Bayern Munich. It's Bayern Munich. Let's see.
Yeah.
You'll see on the watch along how we feel about that. But Man United, no, they're one of the worst teams I've seen in a long time.
And let us know your comments down below. How do you see Man United going from this point onwards? A lot of the other teams, Arsenal and their form, Tottenham, even Liverpool and the handball. Let us know your comments down below. Let us know on Chelsea too. Would be interested to hear your thoughts as a non-Chelsea fan. If you are, let us know down below. And roll on Champions League, because that's next.
It's mega. Subscribe to ShootOut. If you haven't, you have, haven't you? I just click it. Go on.
Yeah, I've gone.
Click that button. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you then.